Hi guys, how are you? I can't believe it's Thursday already. This week is flying by. I just want to say thank you for joining me today. I think we have the biggest doozy that we could possibly talk about. It is the elephant that is ever present in the proverbial room of our minds. And I think it's really difficult to manage the ability to be able to hear ourselves and not have deeply psychological and emotional wounds as a result of it. So let's let everyone settle in, grab some water, pen, paper, if you want to take some notes. Again, we never know when we're going to say something prolific or if we want to remember things. But I just want to take this time to let you guys know that if you like these videos, please be sure to give them a thumbs up or click that subscribe button below. Click the bell, that way you're made aware when we launch these lives because they're made with love just for you guys. I'm so happy to see so many of you returning to these lives week after week. I feel like I'm getting to know you. It's wonderful. I just want to share in this process with you. So I'm glad you're here. And we're also going to be doing them as often as we can, every Monday and Thursday. We won't be doing them next week, unfortunately, because of the holiday, the Christmas holiday. But we will be returning just after. So let's hop in. Let's talk. Let's talk. Sit down, relax, and just prepare yourselves because it's a doozy. And I just want to explore this psychological and this emotional space because it is the biggest saboteur of vocalists' real, deep, and meaningful growth. And that is the inability to listen to themselves sing, the inability to evaluate their singing in a productive way, and just the inability to really, in a sense, kind of confront yourself, because it's terrifying. It's literal, existentially terrifying. So why do we cringe when we hear ourselves sing? Your reasons are your own. I can only speculate that there's some deep, deep, deep shame that comes along with having the voice that you have. Many people that come into lessons have a desire to be the best vocalist that they can be. But I think that's also kind of entangled with a kind of sense of self-loathing of the voice that they have. So it's almost like there's going to be a voice-ectomy. Like, just give me a new voice. Give me a totally different voice. And so sometimes when their voice is recorded, I know I can speak from personal experience, that when there's that listening back, it can be very frustrating and maybe even a little devastating. And it's something that even in voice lessons, there's a great amount of time that is being taken from just that deep, deep desire of absolutely cringing, completely abandoning the person's own voice. Hi, JW. Hi, JC. Hi, Strange Cat from South Africa. So glad that you're here. So, okay, so it's a saboteur of our ability to actually grow, not only as singers, but also as confident, effective, fully formed human beings. So that we definitely know. But what's it going to take? What's it going to take for us to face ourselves in a way that doesn't feel so painful? What's it going to take for us to behold ourselves in a way that's supportive and productive? And I think that is, first, it's a little bit of courage. Oh, good job, JW. Oh, you said it before I could. It's a little bit of courage. It's courage. It's like the Cowardly Lion. Courage. Absolutely, absolutely. And I don't want to gloss over that because it's the whole reason why courage is there is because we're terrified. and we're vulnerable. We can be seriously hurt. And it wouldn't be courage if we couldn't be seriously hurt. But it's so admirable because singers, the types of singers that we all want to be, are the kind of people that can stand on a stage being witnessed by other people and just absolutely expose themselves to being completely eviscerated by the audience. Just that's what vulnerability is. It's like, I'm going to stand here and I'm going to just be, and I'm going to trust myself. And in this process, something real and meaningful is going to happen. So let's talk about how we can fix that, because we know, okay, courage, it's wonderful. It's a great idea for a bumper sticker. But how do we break that down into something that we can actually do? Well, there's a couple. There's three. There's three that I'm going to break down with you. One, well, before I break down the three, you have to come into your practice. You have to come into your practice with a sense of care for yourself, as if you are someone that you legitimately care for. Even if you don't like yourself, because that's always a lifelong struggle for many of us. It's a process. We have to come into our practice as if there is a part of our consciousness that cares about us is going to be engaged. And I didn't have this. Ooh, no. This is something that I noticed kind of emerging little by little over the course of my learning, and it's still emerging. But I realized that when I had these shattering, like I wanted to either hide under a desk or run out of a room kind of moments, I would hear inside of myself, "You're okay. You're all right. You're all right. What can we do? What can we do about this?" And I noticed that was the beginning of that nurturing inner mode that was just emerging. And I know that when I sit down to practice, I know that if it's a good practice, there's going to be a fair bit of humiliation that happens. If it's a good practice, that means if I am really digging into a new place in my voice, I'm actually going to humiliate myself. I know that because I'm going to surprise myself with a way that I can go a little bit deeper into a sensation, into something. And that in that humiliation, that means I'm going to be confronted by, but because I legitimately care about my learning, at least my learning, I can demonstrate that sense of, you're all right, or that was good. Let's try it a different way. So you have to come into that practice with, I may not like myself and I may not love myself, but I care enough for myself that I'm actually showing up and I'm willing to engage this something that could scare me or embarrass me, humiliate me. I'm willing to even start that conversation. So come into your practice with that frame of mind. So here we go. Here's our big three. Number one, when you come in, you have to define your parameters for satisfaction. This is a very, very big thing. You can't hit a target you can't see, right? And unfortunately, I'm so guilty of this. My parameter for satisfaction will be, well, I want to sound just like XYZ artist, or I want to sound just like, and it's just like that. That might be an expectation that's a little unrealistic. So I have to break it down. All right, well, my parameters for satisfaction usually start somewhere around the bare bones of a piece. So rhythmic accuracy and pitch accuracy are usually where I like to start. Pitch accuracy, I'll go first because there's a dialing in and a concentration that has to happen with that. So I will focus right now. how I know I did this well enough for me is, did I get the pitches right? Great. And as I listen back to myself, I'm focusing my mind to listen only to, did I get the pitches right? And if I did, that gives me a little boost of that dopamine and that self-esteem. It's like, aha, there was that incremental growth, that small incremental progress. And as I check those things off my list, then I'll dive a little bit deeper into what I'd like to hear, a certain type of tone, a certain type of phrasing, a certain type of energy or mood or anything like that. But I start with something just simple, not easy. Pitch is not easy, neither is rhythm, but I'll focus on that one thing. That way, I'm keeping also my critical mind focused on that one thing. So as we focus on pitch, we're also not attacking ourselves for, well, you didn't do this, and you didn't do this, and you didn't do this, blah, blah. Nope. Our parameter was just pitch, for example. So you don't get to attack yourself, but keep defining your parameters for satisfaction. If you guys hear Mabel, she's obsessed with the mail lady, and the mail lady is just going by. So she may start howling because she's a hound dog, so it's crazy. Anyways, and I do think it will help you focus, stay focused, stay on your focus. And if you do judge yourself, there's an element of utility to that judgment. Hopefully, it ceases being, well, you're an awful human being and you have no talent and no one likes you kind of thing, because it really is crazy how quickly it goes there, to, well, you got 7 out of 10 of the pitches right. So let's try for 8 out of 10 of the pitches right. So we can keep ourselves focused on ways that judgment is helpful instead of just punishing judgment. So number 1, define your parameters for satisfaction. Be very, very simple and specific. Number 2, here's the big scary. The big scary is connect with your voice. Voice is not an auditory instrument only. Voice is voice. Ears do the translation of the auditory element of it. Voice is a sensorial instrument. It's got to feel its way through things. And I think I gave this some serious thought, because I noticed that when I was cringing at my own voice, but yet I had technically done all the other things, so it was within my parameters for satisfaction, I was still a little cringy. And so I had to really feel my way into this. Why? Why am I cringing? What about my voice is making me actually feel uncomfortable when I listen? And I realized that it wasn't coming from a place of punishment. It was such good feedback that my heart was like giving me. It was reminding me that I wasn't exactly being authentic. I wasn't exactly being fully embodied with my voice. My tendency is to oversing. Oversing. My mother gently calls me the mouth of the South. So it just means that I have a tendency to be really, really loud and kind of pushy with my voice. And I think it's because I just didn't want to be scared. I didn't want to be afraid of my own voice. So I tried to push it instead of feel so vulnerable and scared of my own voice. But the trick to coming to embody the voice, as cliche as this is going to sound, is feel it slowly. Oh, I think this is the bulk of the big emotional work. If you can sit there and make sound, let's say you have a melody line. Well, let me give you an example. Let's say you have a melody line, and the melody line is just these 2 notes. Just those two notes. Well, I could just jump in and go, ah, look how extra, ah. And I may listen back and go, oh, that wasn't really honest. That wasn't really deeply embodied. So I would sit there and just slide ever so slowly through one note, slow, 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 slow to the next, and then back to that one note, and keep going slow, slow, slow to the next. What this does is it teaches your body how to integrate your sound. Your vocal cords have the ability to feel the spaces between the notes. So FYI, this is also the keys to the kingdom when it comes to creating more tone consistency, because you are seeking out and highlighting any tender spots on those chords where the notes are accustomed to kind of jumping over, and you're not allowing that jump or that break to happen, but you're not squeezing. There's no element of squeeze to this either. You're just gently moving your voice slowly from one note to the next, as if it is always time under tension. So that's what we want to do. That allows us to deeply integrate our voice. So that when we share who we are to the audience, we're sharing from a place of wholeness, something that we can deeply experience as a full body experience, rather than something that we're thinking about, we're mentalizing, because the audience can sense that, and they get a little irritated and frustrated because they can sense that there's a lack of authenticity, there's a lack of presence. They may not always be able to put their words to it, but that is really the sensation of it. So number one, define your parameters for satisfaction. Be specific, be simple, stick to that, focus on that. Number two is connect deeply to your voice by going extremely, like maddeningly slow. You might go at a mid-level volume. You don't need to push through this. So slow, just nice, slow. This challenges your breath. This challenges the tension on the chords. This just gets everything accustomed to balance. Your voice can sense what is necessary as an experience instead of as a sound, okay? You do that, you embody. You become fully embodied. That's hard because that means we have to have the courage, as we said before, to take a look, to be willingly to confront those places in our voice that we know there be skeletons in closets. There be things that we don't want to see, we don't want to feel. I love it when I find something in my voice because it's like, aha, I found you. I know where to sense, I know where to feel now. I know where to put my focus and gently just touch that spot so that it can get reinforced and stronger. Okay, our last one. Each one asks a little bit more courage, I think. The last one is record yourself and listen back. So we would say have the ability to evaluate your voice. This is where people sometimes they shatter, and they shatter so extensively that they don't come back to singing. But that's why I wanted to make a video like this. When you record yourself and you listen back, it's helpful. It's helpful because if you're experiencing your voice, if you're fully experiencing your voice, you cannot be listening to your voice at the same time. That's a different mode of being. So you need something to help you do that. Record audio. I like to record video because sometimes I'll manifest a strange tension that I didn't necessarily feel when I was doing it. So it's good feedback. But I've learned to look at it as good feedback. Now you have to manage the same amount of focus that you did on the first step, which is define your parameters for satisfaction. When you're watching yourself back, you can't judge your I don't know, your waistline. This outfit makes me look fat, or my hair is all weird. I've got something in my teeth. It's the same element of focus that you're listening back for maybe one thing, maybe two things, and then stay focused on those things. You're using the video to kind of be the judge. And as a singer, you have to exercise utility in judgment, because you have to know what you want, what you like, right? So you have to refine that style, refine those preferences. And once you start practicing this, I promise you, you will not bury yourself alive in backhanded comments about you're not this enough and you're not that enough, because you've learned how to focus yourself on, that's not productive. That is demonstrating sensitivity, though. That is demonstrating sensitivity. And that's what artists are. They're sensitive. They're sensitive beings. But you're demonstrating a sensitivity that's unproductive. You're attacking yourself with it. So just bring your focus back. Bring your focus back. And sometimes I will literally say out loud to myself, get over yourself. Now, I don't think I would ever say that to you guys, but I know I can say it to myself, because I know that's exactly what I need to hear. I'm quite tough on myself. So, but I know it's like snap out of it. It's like another word, like stop, snap out of that. Get over yourself. Focus. Focus on what needs to be done rather than, So I'm going to share with you guys like a small list. And I'll give you some time to write these things down as I go over it, because I also want you guys to use this list as a way to go, okay, parameter for satisfaction. How do I know what I want when I don't know what to ask for? I don't know what to focus on. How do I know what to train if I don't know what to focus on? In the same way, when you go back and you listen to your recording, how do I know how to evaluate my voice if I don't know what to listen for? So I'm going to share a small list, and I've got this broken down to technique and performance. Now, when you work one, you're not working the other. Their technique is focused in this direction, okay? Like, how does this feel? What's my jaw doing? How's my breath? It's like you're kind of working in this direction with your focus. Performance, though, is focused in this direction. So that's why sometimes if you've ever felt like you've walked off of a stage and you kind of disassociated from yourself for just a second, you're like, I have no memory of if I even sang the right words or the right pitches because I was not aware of myself. That might be a good thing, because all your attention was on the audience rather than yourself. And that's what performance is all about. That's why we have to go with technique first, and we have to really get those technical elements ingrained so that they are unconscious, meaning they don't require your conscious attention. Competence. So unconscious competence. Your body has a unconscious level of understanding about what you want. So we'll start with technique. For your parameters for satisfaction, and also what you're going to be listening for when you evaluate yourself, is pitch accuracy. I love to start with that one. That one takes me a good minute. Good minute, because I realize that one, I don't always know a song as well as I thought I did. And I've seen that in every single voice lesson, every single one. When it comes down to actually what the pitches are, people get, about half the pitches right, but then the more we break it down, the more it's dialed in. And that's how I want you guys to look at it. It's just something that needs to be tuned. Like you tune an instrument, you tune a voice. And once you practice this, you won't have to think about it so much. Pitch accuracy. The next one is rhythmic accuracy. Now, a way to practice rhythmic accuracy is speak the words on the rhythm, almost like you're rapping it. Then you're not distracted by the voice per se because the pitch is not present. But for example, I'll give you a line from a song that I wrote. It's called One of Us is Lying. So the rhythm goes, one of us is breaking the rules. One of us is playing it cool. It sounds so weird when you don't have any pitch in there. One of us is breaking the rules. One of us is playing it cool. Weird. But then I would put the pitches. One of us is breaking the rules. One of us is playing it cool. But I have to separate them first, because if I'm too focused on pitch, that rhythm is going to drag. And when stuff drags, we cringe almost immediately when it drags. Okay. Next one, breath support. That one's a little nebulous, but you can always hear when your breath is being supportive. A good way to test for that is, does your phrase start and end in a nice supported way? What's the energy like as you move from the first part of the phrase to the last bit of the phrase? If your energy starts, bang, like so much energy, and then it quickly drops, you've lost your breath support. So you're looking for nice, consistent support. The next one is tone quality. Now you can really go to town on this one. And as you're listening to different genres of music, certain tones are more celebrated in some rather than others. I'll give you an example. When I really enjoy writing blues music. Something about jazz and blues I just really love writing. I love the moods that they create. But I would get really frustrated, super frustrated when I would go to sing, because I was like, why does it sound like Mary Poppins sings the blues every time I sang some of my own music? So I needed to listen to other blues artists and then really get the nuance of that kind of shade, tonal color, and then practice that, break that down. The next one is tone consistency. Now we're listening specifically for strain in that. If you get strain that pops up in the middle of a phrase, you're losing your sense of tone consistency. If that happens, what do? Just sing it a little softer. That's it. Make it really easy for yourself. If you feel like you're pushing the voice to go higher and it goes louder as it goes higher, just sing it a little softer. That will help your voice stay in balance, and balance is the key to tone consistency. So let me walk you through those again. Pitch accuracy, rhythmic accuracy, breath support, tone quality, and tone consistency. Pick one of those things, but only one. When you come into your practice, say you're going to devote your practice to that one thing, break it down for yourself, and then go slow, record yourself, and watch it back. If you see, that was really good. I really tried something, and I liked where that was going, but I need to maybe do it a little bit more, or maybe open it a little bit differently to get a different kind of tone. This gets you thinking like an artist. Every single artist needs to go through this, and every single artist cringes at the sound of their own voice. As we develop, as you will develop yourself artistically, I'm absolutely sure of it. You're going to like some things, you're not going to like other things, but you're also going to notice and appreciate the nuances of voice. Take a little time to develop. And when you hear an artist that you really love, they've had years and years to develop that kind of nuance in their style, in their voices. And I don't want that to discourage you. Once you break it down, it's rather simple. All you have to do is stay as focused as possible. You just don't have time for cringing. You're too busy. You got work to do, right? So the performance aspect. Now, I'm just looking I don't want you to do this while you're performing. This is more for when you are watching back, because performance, you should be focused away from yourself. Just get accustomed to what that feels like. So ways to evaluate your performance for, okay, this is it technically a good performance, is articulation. You don't have to pronounce everything so specifically, but you do have to use your articulators to make the words and the sounds come alive. So break that down and then back off of it, because you do want it to be natural. Next is lyric interpretation. This is sometimes very difficult for people. You don't have to imagine what the original artist meant. There's no way for you to know. But you can use your imagination to go, well, what do I mean? How does that make me feel? But as a member of the audience of your singing, I must get the sense that you have feelings about what you mean. You have feelings about the way that you are interpreting those lyrics. Okay. The next one is projection. Now you may think, well, that awfully sounds very technical. Shouldn't that be with the technical element? Maybe, but I like it with the performance element, because again, projection is not about loudness, how loud you can sing. Projection is all about kind of being in the space. Totally. Like you are in the space. You can kind of feel the room, read the room, so to speak. And you can use your voice to fill that space. Almost like you were going to reach out and just touch that back wall. It doesn't have to be loud. You do it with your intention. JC, can you repeat how we use articulation? Yes. So articulation. I'm gonna use one of us as line again. One of us is, that's the rhythm. One of us is breaking the rules. One of us is playing it cool. So articulation and rhythm, they go hand in hand. They will always go hand in hand. You have to use the word to give you something to push off of. So I wouldn't go, one of us is breaking the rules, because that seems a little, chill, relax. Seems so extra, doesn't it? So you're going to use the word to fit right with the rhythm, to make it even more spinny, energized. So it's not like, how well can you articulate? No, it's use the word to deliver the rhythm. You'll do it. One of us is breaking the rules, breaking the rules. So it's you're using the word to help that rhythm come alive a little bit. So I hope that was helpful. All right, and our last bit is energy and presence. Energy and presence. So why is energy and presence necessary in a performance? Well, again, that kind of boils it down. If you are aware of yourself, there's not a great deal of affecting or sharing that other people can kind of join in on. So the idea with technique is that it should be so ingrained in you that the technique is invisible, even to you. Yeah, your technique is completely invisible, even to you. So that when you perform, you're thinking this direction. You're just really reaching out and connecting with your own energy and your intention, that you can create a sense of presence that is authentic. You don't have to manufacture a presence. People can feel that. They can intuit something that feels pretentious. They don't like that very much. But if you are legitimately like, we're just here together. I'm going to tell you a story. I really hope you like it. That's it. And everything is connected to it. There's an intentional element to it that's connected to, and it's landing on people. So let me walk you through that really quick. Performance, articulation, lyric interpretation, projection, and energy and presence. Yeah, Just taking your attention away from yourself and focusing it out there. Okay? So that's the little mini list for things to look for, whether you're organizing your parameters for satisfaction. You're just organizing the way that you're going to practice. Next 15 minutes, I'm just going to think on articulation. Really, really love articulation work. And I do think most genres actually come down to that right there, articulation. The way that you handle the language says a lot. Anyway, I digress. So you're organizing your practice. I'm going to just focus on articulation for the next 15 minutes. Practice it. Go slow. Break it down, break it down, break it down. Embody it. Then record yourself. Did you meet your parameter for satisfaction? If you did, there's no need to cringe. You did well. You did really, really well. So be sure to give yourself an ample amount of praise. If you didn't meet your goal to the extent that you wanted to, still, well, I didn't meet it fully, but I bet you I could do it differently. And I bet you'd have an idea of how you could do it differently. Go back, break it down, go slow, and re-record it. Did it meet your parameter for satisfaction? If it did, fantastic. You are slowly eliminating that cringy behavior, which the only job that has is to stop you from doing and being who you know that you are and who you want to explore as an artist, as a singer, as a performer. You don't have time for that. You've got too much to do, too much work to do, but it's good work. It's fun work. So I'm just going to take a couple minutes, guys, and take your questions. Be sure to leave some question marks. I'm like, what is that? At the end of your question. That way I can recognize it. So I'm just going to, let's see here. Alrighty. Hi, Yvonne. How are you doing? Okay. Bear with me, guys. I'm just going through real fast. Okay, Victoria, truly your take on being relaxed and allowing your voice to come out naturally without forcing the sounds or notes has really helped me grow. Oh, yeah. Thank you so much for that. That makes my day. It's like the truth, isn't it? It's like, oh, it's so simple. Just be still and let the voice tell you where it wants to go. It's just such a beautiful relationship that we can garner with our voice. JW, they sense the fear. Yes, they do. Yes, they do. Strange Cat, should you just get used to your recorded voice, or should you change your singing so that you're happy? Yeah, a little bit of both. A little bit of both. There are things about your voice that you're not going to be able to change. It's like your hair is your hair, but there's a million ways that you can style your hair, color your hair, cut your hair. There's a lot of different ways that you can use your voice. So I would say, I know what this feels like. I had a long bout of not liking my voice at all. And some of that messaging came from my teachers. I had a country accent, and I was singing class. I was trying to sing classical anyways. And a lot of the department was like, oh, no. We've got to fix that. We've got to just change your voice, which is impossible, really. But I went along with it. Good student. Tried. And it just felt so much work. More work than I think is necessary. We do want training to be an important part, but we don't want to feel like we've got to put on a whole different voice. So my sense was, okay, that's actually too much. It's really too much. So I'm going to take some of these layers off the voice and kind of come back to maybe what I like about my voice, and then just kind of make little micro adjustments from there. It's a very strange freedom. And I will confess, a lot of you guys have given me the courage to enjoy the sound of my own voice. There was a video that I did about the one thing you can't change about your voice, and my voice is kind of brassy. It's like, nah, right? It's a little brassy, and it can be a little like, ugh, for some people. But there was a few of you that was like, I actually like the brassy better. And that made me very misty-eyed, because it was like, oh, you like me? So that feedback can be so helpful. But a little bit of both. So it depends on your style, depends on what you want to hear, but it's a process. It's a process that you are the art and the artist at the same time. Let me see here. Let me go back. JW, yeah, powerful singing is a way to cover your fear. A lot of times, yeah. Oh yeah, I'll confess to that. Let's see, just looking for some question marks here. I love that you guys are talking. Let's see. All right. Well, we got a good sense of everything going on. I'm glad you guys are happy with everything. Let's see. Kathleen, my inner Simon Cowell is truly caustic. Yes. And I think it's helpful to kind of make a fun little name for it, because I think I've named my critic Stanley. So it's like not anything that I could take too seriously. It's like, oh, a little silly name like Stanley. It's like, well, you don't get to talk right now. Go sit down. But thank you guys. I'm really glad that you've enjoyed today's video. I really enjoy meeting with you here. It's so happy to see so many new people joining the lives, as well as some old friends or making new friends. So glad that you guys are here. I love you guys. I hope you have a wonderful, wonderful Christmas and a very happy new year. And I will see you next time. Bye, guys.